There's a song that goes to this music.
Show.
Here we are on a Thursday. Here we are again on another Thursday. Here we are on a Thursday.
We're live.
Let's just read a show. Hi everybody, welcome. I'm going to work on that one. Anybody out there know how to write jingles?
That's what makes it fun.
Oh,
yes, we're very open. At the Trish Brina Show right now, we are seeking opportunities for our own Trish Brina chat.
Yeah, we'll take a chat.
Like a television show. We'd be
TV
open
show.
to negotiations for that.
Okay.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Seriously, what TV show? Yes, TV show.
Just popping in on the old Facebook here so we can connect with you live. Great to be here. Great to be with you.
And yes, as the Trish Brina Show evolves, we want to pick one song with some great lyrics, and that's not our expertise. So
we'll figure it out.
Step up, submit. It'll be like Songland. Submit your songs, put them in our key because we may sing along with you, and you'll get all the residuals. Not all. We'll negotiate the residuals with you for the rest of our lives for the Trish Brina Show. And you never know how things are going to go.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Sandy. Do you guys watch Songland? That is such a great show. The creative process. It's so cool to watch. Anyway, here we are. Today we're going to dig into something pretty interesting, and we bet that you've had this experience too, of repelling and attracting the types of people that we want in our lives, right? So it's okay to repel as well.
People,
those that we don't really want to be around.
Places.
Yes.
Things. Animals.
Attractive things. But specifically, this last little voyage we took to California, some crazy stuff happened.
Yeah, because we're always broadcasting something, right? We're always broadcasting, emitting an energy based on what we've cultivated. Like whatever the energy frequency is that we're living in right now. We are broadcasting that. That is our essence. That is our vibration. That is our frequency. And like frequencies will respond to that. So if I'm being all negative-y, which I'm not usually.
Is that called the negative
That's
Nelly?
why, if you notice, you stump your toe, and then you're like, I stumped my toe. Oh, no. And then you go to grab it and you bump your elbow on the counter. Crap! And then as you stand up, you hit your head on the sink.
Oh my gosh, that's the real thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how that happens? You get into a funk and all of a sudden everything gets funked up. Hi, Devin. Hi, Joanna. Here they come. Yes.
Here they come.
It is date night. We're all having a date together. So this thing about being able to send out or broadcast, as you say, energy, we're doing it right now. And people often say...
Do it.
Let's do it.
1,
Ready?
2, 3.
I have to say a funny that happened this morning in the Life Force class. We were talking about something you and I noticed that you used to see in me all the time is while I was practicing my energy arts, I had this look on my face like...
Oh, good, you talked about it. Oh, great.
We brought it up.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm really in meditation. I'm really enjoy. And you're like, what's going on with your face?
I wonder if it's because so many of us grew up in a church, and I know in my church it was like, shh, don't talk.
Quiet.
Stop laughing.
Solemn.
And, that we kind of misunderstanding that reverence is stoic and serious and sometimes even yells at you.
Hey, now everybody get in line. But when you're broadcasting, it's not... It's joy, and it's juicy, and it's lovely. So we were broadcasting a lot of joy on our trip, and
not on purpose, even.
No, and not at all, man. And it happened during.
No,
it only happens when we're around others. Otherwise, we're very boring. No, other people tend to bring it out of you. I think I try to bring it. I want to bring joy and love.
I think that other people notice. Maybe you consider something the norm. Like, let's say that you every day wear a big red bozo nose. And you wear that every day. And then you wear it around your house and everyone gets used to it. And you go out and people are like, oh my gosh, what an amazing bozo nose you have. And because they say
it's the norm to you.
they
It
help,
could be.
help you to reflect
be.
on it and say,
It
you
could
know,
be.
wow, this is a really amazing
I'll buy that. I'll buy
photo.
that. But I also make a concerted effort to bring the love and the joy because
You know
I'm going to the church. It's sort of baked in now. Like, hey, you're out and about. Share love. Bring the love. You know, don't keep it just to yourself. Share it. And so that's a natural phenomenon. In the 5-day energy challenge, we brought the love and the joy, and the people said, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so fun! I don't know."
In the 5-day energy challenge,
feeling the consonance. People were
You're
saying,
gonna turn into Chris Rock here in a minute.
"That's the big piece of chicken. Why does Daddy always get the big piece of chicken? I keep on the light." No, we're not gonna go there.
That's from Chris Rock's stand-up comedy show.
Yeah, in case you were wondering. And who's Chris Rock? He's a comedian. Anyway, people were reflecting back during the 5 days, and they were reflecting back on the trip. Big time. So tell the peoples about how crazy this was.
Yeah, so...
When did it start? At the rental car? I think that's when it first started.
The first rental car?
Yeah, so when we went to California...
Maybe out of sequence. So
we used
right
Fox.
after the Trisbrina show last week, the next morning, Friday morning, we had a trip. We had a couple locations we went to in California. So it may not be in the right order, but we walk up to the counter to get the rental car, and the woman behind the counter, she was looking down helping us, and then the woman next to her, I just kind of looked up, and I guess I smiled, and she just said, she goes, "Pure sunshine."
Boom!
Like pure sunshine.
Yeah.
And she said, you're walking up to the counter, it's like you're bringing sunshine up here. And it was so sweet the way she said it, and it wasn't just a joke, and it wasn't...
No, she was taken aback.
Yeah.
She just looked up and went, "Whoa, sunshine."
Yeah. And it was like 6 o'clock at night. It wasn't like morning time.
You weren't all fresh and sunny, but you were beaming the sun, the love.
Yeah, and just the acknowledging that. And then we got into an Uber. And
Like a taxi.
we got into an Uber, and I realized I had left my phone in the other location, so I had to ask the Uber driver to wait, which I don't like doing because I don't want to...
Oh, that's the second Uber. That's when we're leaving. A bunch of stuff happened. I'm gonna reel it back.
I won't
We
tell
actually
that
took
right now.
because she's on the second Uber. The first Uber though, it was the same thing. Conversation, kind of fun reggae music started happening in the car. This cool guy with dreadlocks started telling us about all the cool places in the area, and he'd like show us around if we wanted, and then it ended up about this whole healing journey.
He had gotten a job right out of high school. No, in high school.
Yeah.
At like 16 at, I can't remember which company, but it was one of the first companies started making
Vicom
cell phones.
Yeah.
He was allowed to
putting chips in phones and things.
Yeah.
And he got stock.
And they couldn't pay people very much, so they gave him like minimum wage and some stocks. And then he said when he graduated from high school,
It went public.
He got $250,000, and
Yeah,
that was like
beaming.
15 years ago.
He just started sharing all these stories, and there was this really nice vibration in the ride while we were there, and it ended up exchanging a business card because of Satori and wanting to share more love in the world. So that was very beautiful and natural. And then we spent a couple of days with some beautiful luminaries, people you probably know, like Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, anybody? Our friend Natalie Ledwell from My Movies, Janet Atwood, The Passion Test, Debbie Ford's sister, Ariel Ford.
I love Ariel Ford.
Amazing, beautiful teachers and people. Marianne Williamson.
Who, just want to insert,
yes.
I've seen that she's trying to get nominated or be one of the main nominees for Democratic president, and I didn't really look. I just thought, well, that's not going to happen. But hearing her speak and thinking, pondering, wouldn't it be great if someone who, she was so not anti, and
Can you share that one story when the person asked her about her parents voting for?
If someone said, well, my parents, the person asking the question to Marianne does not care for Trump. And she said, my parents are adamantly voting for Trump, and I don't like him, and what should I do?
How can I turn
How can
it?
I turn,
Make them...
change them, and get them to vote for you? And Marianne said, you, not through shame, never through shame, and never through hate, and never through anger can anything work. Allow them to vote for whoever they want. Allow them to be who they are, and don't shame them for it. You can have a conversation. This is why I would do this, and this is why I would do that. Or just, it's not worth a fight. It's always go towards what you want rather than pick away at what you don't want.
Back to the broadcast and the attraction, she was shifting the energy from what I don't want to what I do want.
Yeah.
And putting joy rather than pushing against or being upset or angry with, because you get more of that. Yeah. She completely shifted the conversation into consciousness, into expansion. And I was so proud of consciousness using her to share through her. And I thought, like you, wow, what if consciousness was president, right? What if someone who represents consciousness and lives in that? Wow, what a world this could be.
Yeah, and she was speaking about throughout history
across all the countries,
how so many changes in the United States have happened because of maybe the Quakers brought something forward, or other religious groups said, no, this isn't right. This isn't in integrity. This isn't in alignment with our value system. And that can't we, as Americans here, or whatever country that you're in, if something feels out of alignment, say, wait, and speak of not just the politics of it and the gaming of it and buying the votes and just all of the politics that go on. Can we put into the conversation to be the great country, to be the loving country, the one that feels like the big brother to the rest of the world, because it's just not happening. And now back to the Tris Brina show.
Well, this was the expansion that was happening. The energy, the people that we were around were very uplifting. Yeah. And so we felt uplifted in that. And
inspired. Yeah.
We were not there in this particular occasion to teach, but more to receive. And so we entered in as students. And we love what I call being on the other side of the mat. So in a martial arts school, there are all mats on the floor, and I'm on this side, and the students are there for us. We are. But we're on the student side receiving. And one of the things that happened in the closing ceremony, where we all received crystals that were charged with the vibration of being there that weekend, the person who kind of leads and runs the whole organization, I walked up to him. There was a closing part after you receive the crystal where you just go and connect with someone else and say, I love you, or just connect with them. And I just went right up to this soul and just eye to eye, like, I love you. And he looked at me and he said, I love you too, Tristan, and I want to give you my crystal because you could exchange crystals. And then he said, you just hold such presence and space while you're here. And even though you didn't speak this time, in your quiet energy, you still contributed so much, and I could feel it. And I just want to give you this crystal and say thank you and I love you. And I wasn't expecting that, although it makes sense, right? When we show up fully. And someone else said a similar thing to you about, you said, I'm very quiet today.
Yeah, I felt I had a very quiet weekend. I just felt like being like extra quiet. I'm oftentimes very happy not speaking, and I just learned, there's a lot going on in here, and there's a lot of conversation going on in between my ears many times, and lots of reflective thoughts, and lots of listening, and lots of processing. And I'm not a person who has to say out loud and share it in order to digest it myself. But both are good, but I'm totally okay not doing that. And so I don't think I spoke like for a couple of days, really, inside of the meeting room at all. And I was saying to one of the other people that were on the council,
He's saying hi to our friends.
I said, I know I've been really quiet, but I've so much enjoyed it. And she said to me, well, you haven't been sharing words, but your energy has been so loud and so beaming and so expansive. Whenever you're in the room, it's so obvious because you radiate this palpable love.
The reason we're sharing all of these with you is they're examples of your broadcast is very powerful, and it is felt. Maybe people don't always say it. We're just letting you know that it was quite, it's not about us. No. We're not special. The energy, though, is broadcast. And when you're in joy and love, that's what other souls are attracted to.
And we were around a group of people who were sensitive and who are not hesitant to say it.
And yet we didn't expect it from the Uber driver. We haven't even told you about the second Uber driver. And then at the car rental. So it affects everyone, is our point, is when you're in that energy and that vibration, as you know, preaching to the choir, of course, but we're excited to report back that it is felt and it is received and it is important
and it makes a
to
difference.
Stay in that vibration. Janet Atwood said the same thing to you. I love that you're here. I always love when I see you.
Janet, she wrote, I think it was the book called The Passion Test, and now she lives in, I think, Germany. And we haven't seen each other in a few years. And I just love her. She's sweet. She's beautiful. She's soul. Crazy and zany.
Kooky, lovely, amazing.
Yeah, and I love the way her. She dresses.
She's awesome.
She was just like, what did she call us? Do you remember? She had little names for us, like Papooni or something. And she just says, you guys can sparkle. Oh, and the other thing, and we're sharing this with you because it's exciting that through Qigong and these energy art practices that we're broadcasting a frequency that people feel and are like, yes. Yeah. Because the same is true if you're broadcasting something negative. Just it's not socially correct for people to go, boy, you're a bummer. You're like darkness coming in here. Right? Yeah. They don't say it as much, and how we're responsible for the energy, and these situations happening all so quickly to us validated that what we're all doing here together, it matters and it makes a difference, and it is trickling out.
It's how we're raising the consciousness on this planet. You don't have to be a leader or build an empire or any of that stuff. You can quietly, in your own love and your own sweet consciousness, affect the world. One person in love can affect masses of people who are living in that other vibration. What you project, what you broadcast, what you radiate, you pull out of others. You pulled it out of that lady when we walked up to the rental car. Boom, you pulled out, oh, hi, sunshine, right?
And you know what I wish? I wish that I had time in those situations to teach each and every one of them, like, one Qigong move, one way to charge their energy, because that can change someone's life, just one tool like that.
Yeah. You can, just to land on that thought, you could trigger the opposite in someone. You can show up at the rental car and you can be pissy because you had a long time. We had to wait a long time for the bags. You could be in a mood. You can throw your stuff down or whatever, or just, and you could pull a totally different vibration out of somebody, right?
Or what most people do, let's just go eat food and drink alcohol, not because we're hungry and thirsty, but because we're bored, right? It's like trying to do rather than be.
Num. But to fully land this thought, your energy is so important. Your mastery of your energy is so important because you will trigger and pull out of others either the darker, negative energy or the lighter, brighter, lovely energy. And so if you want to help be the ripple effect, which we all do, then we must own our energy and master our energy and be mindful and choose a high vibrational mood at all times, especially in public. And we're just saying it is reflected back massively. We left a wake of love. We got in this last Uber to drive back to the airport, and this guy, he was a big guy.
This is the one where I was saying I left my phone and I had to say, do you mind? I got to run back in and get it.
Late.
Come back. So he had every reason to be irritated with
He had a big, thick, loud voice like that. It was really strong. I could barely understand the guy. I think you, in the car, you said, how did you even understand him?
From?
Georgia, but not Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like the
country Georgia.
And you couldn't understand him, but I could understand him because something happened. And he liked rock and roll, and there was a Led Zeppelin song, if anybody knows old school rock and roll. And I was, oh, Led Zeppelin. He's, oh, you like Led Zeppelin? But all of a sudden he goes, you guys are good people. You have really good energy in a deep voice.
And he was like, I feel it coming from back there.
And we hadn't said but a couple of words, and we were the ones making him late and all of this. And he just started telling us about his brother who had passed away recently. There was this whole love thing. And we get out of the Uber, this big tall guy with a hat, like a funny little hat. He's just a big hug. The other Uber driver too. We hug all the Uber drivers. We're having the most like beautiful divine romance with people.
He said
It's so
he feels
amazing.
so lucky if at least once a day, like, this would be the ride of the day. That he might just go home after this because he had such good energy in the car. There was one more too.
It's a beautiful
this man that I just adore. He has a PhD in religious studies and poetry, and he also loves musical theater. Win, 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 like for me. And he saw us, and I have such respect for him for some of the work that he's done. And he's been a strategist and a marketer, and he's been a ghostwriter for so many thought leaders. And he just said, yeah, I'm so happy when I see the two of you because I always feel so accepted and so relaxed, like meeting old friends. And I think that the energy, when we connect to that energy of love through meditation and Qigong, and especially Qigong, I think because to me it takes you off your pillow and into life because of the movements. It includes others, and it emanates from you as love and as acceptance, where so many people are walking around feeling like I'm white, I'm black, I'm gay, I'm straight, I'm rich, I'm poor. You know, there's so many ways that people are put in little boxes, and the energy of love doesn't have a box. It loves all. It gets rid of all those boundaries. And it was such a beautiful experience because I feel that way. Like every single person that said wave of love, I got to feel, oh, wow, yeah, and it's my norm. It's my normal bozo nose, right? And thank you, thank you for reminding me that I have a bozo nose, and I'm so used to it. Just as an analogy for living in a vibration of love, that it's just normal to me, and it reminded me to be more grateful for it, and to share it more with each and every person, not just a student in a class, but everyone, even in silence, even in talking. And to never ever think that you're not good enough to share, right? Sharing what you have is always good. And I think so many of us doubt, like, well, I'm not a teacher. Who am I to share? Who am I to say that? And we weren't being like teachy preachy, like you need to do this. It's sharing your experience as an inspiration to others. And then, you might say, if you're teaching a class, if you're a Qigong teacher, or you have any type of certification like that, and you say, oh yeah, it'll feel even better if you do it like this. People really appreciate that.
There was a person there were many people at this event we're speaking of, and one is really great guy, like him a lot, great teacher, but he really likes to talk a lot and doesn't really what we call bounce in the art of connecting and communication. We like to ask people, hey, how are you? What's going on with you? How is your business? Rather than just talking at you and teaching at you, right? This person is a teacher and they love to teach and they're very excited about it. But sometimes that's a bit of a taking, right? Because you're trying to take that person's attention and you're not giving anything back. And even in silence, we were able to give and receive, but to give. Isn't that beautiful that you don't have to talk a lot and you don't have to be this teacher person to share love? You can just do it with your energy, and it can be more palpable, right, than efforting into it. So just know that even if sometimes you might judge yourself a little bit, like, well, I don't really participate or talk a lot, that's okay. You're doing it with your vibration. And sometimes it's going to feel really perfect.
And you better say it's okay to talk a lot, right?
Well, I'm about to say that. And sometimes It's okay to lean into words because they're an expression of love. I certainly use words a lot. Sometimes I use them more than I would like, but we're in a medium of communication and conversation to help uplift and inspire, so we use words.
And another amazing thing that I became aware of again is how we affect people in their observation of us, and we learn by observing others. Two people this weekend tell me that one person actually said, I sat behind you guys at the last event because I want to call in a life partner that's aligned with what I love as a spiritual being, and to me you guys are the shape of that. So I sat behind you to feel what that felt like, so that as I visualized it for myself, I could be influenced by you guys. And several people told me, like from across the room, they watched the loving energy between us and they were using that in their own relationships. So we're always teaching without trying to be. We're always broadcasting and teaching and expressing and being an example of something. And it's up to us to decide what we live in, because whatever frequency I choose to live in, I'm either going to broadcast, if on a scale from 1 to 10, a different frequency of energy, a different frequency of love. Am I more from my heart, or am I more from my brains?
And that was a beautiful share that B just mentioned, and I put it on the screen about don't hold back. Don't just be in a shy place. Share with words, share your love, because it really does make a difference and impacts people.
Yeah.
And I would say yes to that. Just be in that energetic alignment that you're speaking of is share from a place of beautiful heart and love. Then it's something, well, hopefully that can be received depending on where the other person is at. But where you're coming from is really beautiful. Not from a need or from a take, but from a, let me share love. Let me give.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you said that, B, because if it's my event, right, my class, I very comfortable sharing. But because I struggled with a lot of, I'm not comfortable socially as a personality from when I'm young. Sometimes I'll feel that when I'm in a group of a lot of people I don't know, and I do have a lot of insights that they could benefit from hearing. And although I'm enjoying my silence, it's probably, I appreciate your comment that every now and then I could speak. I do belong, because sometimes I think that I hold back because maybe I think I don't want to take up the time or the space.
Yeah. And
some people didn't seem to mind taking up the time or space at all.
It's important to share when you have a message.
Yeah.
I think my main point on this is be the message first. We teach this in something we call the connection method, is you go into being the energy, the vibration, the mission. Your essence is speaking very loud. And then you can go out and share that when you feel comfortable with that. Don't withhold in any way that message, the story of love, in whatever way it shapes. Today is just stories of love, right? Yeah. Stories of connection with people, stories of being love, and then sharing love. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's why we say be love, serve love. First go home, connect to the truth of you, then there's something to say. And words are a great way to get that across. I will say that it's also a great way to repel, without even thinking about it, that which isn't in alignment with you. I have noticed a lot of things have dropped away. Just like Marianne Williamson said to that lady, oh, let's shift the focus to what we do want, rather than what?
I just remembered something.
Hold on. Let me land this plane first, or you're going to take me down a path. Here comes a squirrel? No. Shifting the focus naturally, without trying to push away, naturally helps repel, or that other thing just sort of drops away, right? Because you're so present to this, and this expands, and this becomes your reality. So that's an art, the art of catching and reshifting to what you love. Okay, go.
No, so you know the joke that we have around here that really isn't a joke is that I always got compliments over my lioness locks of hair growing up.
Beautiful hair.
And then we get married, and everywhere we go,
this isn't just
if they're
every
not
now
saying
and then.
if they're not saying
Weird.
you have good energy, they're going, dude, good hair, right? The security guy at the airport will say it. The guy that takes your
It's
bags
true.
at the airport.
It's so interesting.
The bellman at the
Did
hotel.
I get it this weekend?
Just you be quiet.
Just you be quiet.
So after Marianne Williamson spoke, they said if you guys want a picture with her, and I've been reading a lot of Marianne's takes on A Course in Miracles since probably high school. So I was like, yeah, let's take our picture. And we wanted both of us in the photo. So she's in the middle, and we'll share it with you. She's got the cutest suit on. It's kind of got a little sailor flare, navy with gold and the little bell bottoms, and she's between us. And we have a picture before the good picture of her. It's me, and then Tristan, and then her, and then Tristan, and she's like this, and she goes, "You've got amazing hair."
This is it right here. She's telling me that I have amazing hair.
And of course I'm just like laughing, and she looks at me, and we just really connect, like for a couple of seconds, and then she said to me, "What is your name?" And it was such a sweetness, and I said Sabrina, and she was like, "Okay," almost like, "I'm gonna remember that," and I was like, "You better."
It's been a glorious little trip, and we love bringing you this report from the Trisbrina effect. What happens when you emanate joy and love is it shows up everywhere.
Yep.
And you make a real beautiful difference in people's lives. You light them up, you pull the best out of them. And so it's just such an important reminder that you are a broadcast station. Your energy is incredibly powerful. And if you haven't really mastered your energy and connected to it at a deep level, or you get a little wonky from time to time, we all do, keep working on that. You know, that's what the Trisbrina show is about, is we're here to inspire and support. Yeah, we have a certification for energy mastery. That's something that's a beautiful fit for a lot of people. Right now we're doing what's called a photo challenge for all the people in our Qigong certification group, and they're all around the world. And many of you are here, and they're posting pictures for 5 days in a row of the places they practice Qigong.
It's so amazing.
So beautiful. So Qigong is a moving meditation. It's really easy to do. You don't need a lot of room. It's quite beautiful.
Or special clothes or athletic abilities.
No, not
Anyone
at all.
can do it.
It unblocks the channels that the energy flows through in your body and the centers. There's chakras that are like energy gates. It opens them up and helps the energy pour into the three main, the wisdom center, the heart center, and the power center. And so we take people on a deep dive into mastery of that energy. And then when they go through it, they get certified so that they can share it and teach others. So that is going on. If that interests you, you can go to Satori Method, SATORI, method.com. Put that little line / write the word certification. We'll put something in the banner on this page soon. And if you're on the email list, then you already know about it.
We actually take a small group through live. So if you're interested, we're starting October 2nd. So you would want to get registered before that. If you're watching this video after that, maybe next year.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the comments today and all of the different perspectives that you share. And I put a lot of them on the screen so that everybody could see them. But we really appreciate that, because that helps feed into this conversation and it helps pull more out of us. So you guys are the best. We appreciate you so much.
What Rita did. Can you see that we have...
Oh, in the back it's a little blurry. I can't fix that.
I'll take you on a tour at another time.
Rita is Sabrina's mom.
We have fall decor.
She snuck in the house and redid all this cool stuff for us. Thank you, Rita. We appreciate you. Okay, it's date night. Have an incredible rest of your Thursday. And if you're watching the replay, connect with us on Facebook or through email or what have you. We love hearing from you and being part of this community.
Check out the certification, satorimethod.com /certification.
Okay. Much love. Bye now.